Newcastle could be about to take a giant leap into the future with a breathtaking new stadium. But that's not even today's main headline. There's a key player on his way out, changes happening behind the scenes. And at the end, we reveal a massive £60 million target who could transform the Magpies attack. So stick with me until the end, because you're definitely going to want to hear that final story. News 1. The crazy plan for St. James Park. Let's kick things off with a story that could change everything for Newcastle United's future, and it's got the fans talking big time. Remember the promise the club made at the start of the year, that they'd announce something major about St. James Park? Well, we're nearly in June, and so far, radio silence. No official confirmation, no concrete updates. But don't be fooled, it doesn't mean nothing's happening behind the scenes. Quite the opposite. What's going on is that the club's board, led by Brad Miller, has been in intense talks with local authorities and fan representatives to define the future of Newcastle's home, which, let's not forget, has been St. James Park since 1892. That's over 130 years of history. But here comes a twist that took everyone by surprise. The Grok AI, developed by Elon Musk Company, was consulted by Newcastle World to imagine what a potential new stadium could look like. And let's just say, the AI didn't hold back. It came up with a bold vision for a 65,000-seat megastadium packed with cutting-edge technology, sleek architecture, and even space for concerts, events, and immersive fan experiences. Think entertainment hub, not just a football ground. This futuristic stadium will be built in Leazes Park, right next to the current one. And here's a clever bit. Construction would take around 7 years, meaning Newcastle could keep playing at St. James Park while the new stadium rises. Smart, right? Now brace yourself. The estimated cost will be over £1.5 billion. But here's the secret. That investment wouldn't affect the club's financial fair play standing. That's because Premier League rules don't count spending on stadiums and training centers towards profit and sustainability calculations. So Newcastle could go all in without risking any sanctions. According to the AI design, the stadium would blend the futuristic with the spectacular, inspired by the Allianz Arena in Germany, featuring a huge yellow wall style stand for 25,000 fans, and acoustics specially designed to create a deafening matchday atmosphere. But hold on, not everything is smooth sailing. The potential build in Leazes Park has sparked controversy, since it's a protected conservation area. So the club will still need official approval and support from the local community. Plus, there's resistance from many fans who don't want to leave St. James Park behind. For them, it's more than a stadium, it's a symbol of the club's identity. Still, if this plan actually comes to life, Newcastle could be about to make a giant leap into the future. A modern, larger, profitable stadium that would put the club on par with Europe's elite. News 2, key players could leave in 2026. Now on to a story that could directly impact Newcastle's squad, and possibly the club's on-pitch future as well. We're talking about key players whose contracts are set to expire in 2026. That's right, 8 first-team names could leave for free next year. And if the club doesn't act soon, they might lose them without getting a penny in return. Check out this list. Sean Longstaff, homegrown hero and fan favorite, a key figure in midfield. Nick Pope, one of the Premier League's top keepers when fully fit. Fabian Schär, starting centre-back and defensive rock. Dan Bone, the giant left-back, full of passion and identity with the club. Kieran Trippier, a leader on and off the pitch, with international experience and undeniable quality. Emil Croft, Martin Dubravka, and Matt Targett, all important squad players, vital for depth and injury cover. In other words, these aren't just fringe players, they are part of the core of the team, the defensive backbone that helped take Newcastle back to the Champions League recently. And it doesn't stop there. There's also the case of Callum Wilson, the experienced striker who struggled with injuries but still holds major value for the squad. His contract expires next month, and as of now, there's been no renewal. The big question, will the club give him a new deal or make way for fresh blood? It's a tricky situation, especially with financial fair play breathing down Newcastle's neck. Renewing all those players could prove costly, not just in wages, but in terms of long-term squad planning. Some of those names are over 30, and the club is clearly trying to bring in younger talent. On the other hand, letting this much quality walk away for free would be a huge mistake, right? That's why the board need to act fast and wisely, deciding who fits into the medium to long-term project, who should be sold now to bring in funds, and who is worth keeping to maintain the solid base built over recent seasons. So now it's your turn. Who would you keep, and who would you let go? Would you stick with Trippier despite his age? Renew Scar or rebuild the defense? And what about Longstaff? Does he still belong in Newcastle's dream midfield? Let us know in the comments, because this one's going to spark a lot of debate. News 3. The bombshell. Mbeumo could join for £60 million. Now we're talking. This is the biggest headline of the day, and it could completely shake up Newcastle's summer transfer window. The Magpies are eyeing up a massive signing. Bryan Mbeumo, one of Brentford's brightest stars, is on the club's radar. And here's the most exciting part. Brentford are willing to do business. That's right. Manager Thomas Frank has publicly stated that the club won't stand in Mbeumo's way if a serious offer comes in. The price tag? Around £60 million. A hefty sum, but one that reflects Mbeumo's outstanding season. Even without Ivan Toney for much of the campaign, Mbeumo stepped up and delivered an incredible 28 goal contributions, combining goals and assists to prove he's not just a finisher, but a creative force and match winner too. At 24 years old, the Cameroonian forward offers top-level versatility. He naturally plays on the right wing, cutting inside to shoot, but he can also operate through the middle as a false nine, a role that's increasingly important in today's game. That versatility will be gold for a squad like Newcastle's, who need reliable options up front. And speaking of the attack, this move makes perfect sense for several reasons. Callum Wilson, though a great finisher, is constantly battling injuries and is out of contract soon. Alexander Isak is brilliant, but needs top-level partners alongside him. And young Will Ojala, who just arrived, is still adapting and shouldn't be overburdened. In other words, Mbeumo would be an instant upgrade, an elite-level reinforcement in top form, ready to raise the bar in Newcastle's front line. Plus, the club's sporting project is becoming more attractive by the day. If they can secure Champions League qualification again, signings like this become even more realistic. Playing at St. James Park, under Eddie Howe, for a club with European ambitions, that could be exactly the next step Mbeumo is looking for. And let's be honest, just imagine Isak and Mbeumo together up front, with Gordon flying down the left wing. That's a terrifying prospect for any Premier League defense. Newcastle have already shown interest, and behind-the-scenes talks are expected to heat up over the coming weeks. We'll be keeping a close eye on this one, because if it goes through, it could be one of the best moves of the summer. Now we want to hear from you. Is Mbeumo worth £60 million? Would he be a guaranteed starter in this Newcastle team? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned, because this transfer saga could explode at any moment. So, Newcastle fans, imagine a futuristic St. James Park, a revamped squad, and Mbeumo leading the attack. A lot could change in the next few months, and next season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting ever. If you enjoyed today's news, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Would you sign Mbeumo for £60 million? And which players would you keep for next season? See you in the next video, and hoey the lads!